Hello well-wishers and welcome to my channel Aspiring Minds. In today's video, we are going to discuss the line-by-line meaning of the poem Dawn at Puri written by Jayant Mahapatra. So grab your virtual seats and let's begin this poetic journey. First of all, let's learn a little bit about the poet, okay? So Jayant Mahapatra, he's an Indian poet. He writes in English. He was born on 22nd July 1928 in Cuttack, Odisha. And he is known for his poetry that explores the themes of human suffering, spirituality and complexities of life. Now it would be nice if you know a little bit also about the background of the poem so that you can understand it better. So basically Dawn at Puri by Jayant Mahapatra is a poem that draws inspiration from the poet's visit to the coastal town of Puri in Odisha. Now you can let me know in the comment section down below how many of you have visited Puri. I too got a chance only to visit once when I was very small, like maybe in class 2-3. So yes, that is my memory of being there at Puri. So Puri is known for its famous Jagannath temple and its vibrant cultural and religious significance. The poem captures this stark contrast that is there between the spiritual rituals that take place at the temple on one hand versus the harsh reality of life, which is symbolized by the individuals who are suffering in the vicinity of that temple. I have actually seen this poverty in videos. Because I told you I was there when I went there in class 2. So obviously I do not have a very sharp memory of that, but when I see it in the videos, I know that yes, there is a lot of poverty, poor people surrounded all around the temple. So we see that the poem is going to reflect or deal with this paradox of life, where it is showing that on one hand people are engrossed in praising God by performing elaborate spiritual rituals, right? And in contrast to that, we have the reality on the other side, that is of poverty and suffering. This is seen, we all have watched the movie Oh My God. Okay, so there also it has been shown that people spend so much of money to pray and to offer flowers, food items to God, but instead the real service would be to give that to the poor people outside, because I have also known a famous proverb that service to God is service to humanity. So instead of providing trying to praise God by giving so many liters of milk and this and that, it would be better if you can feed the poor and bring a change in their life, and you will automatically see your life changing for the good as well. So now in less than 10 minutes you are going to be thoroughly prepared with the line by line explanation and meaning of the lines of the poem. So let's begin. Endless crow noises. So the poem begins with this auditory image that is coming in front of us of endless crow noises, which creates a sense of continuity, and it could also be suggesting chaos, because the sound of crows is not a very pleasant sound to hear, and crows are often associated with death and are scavengers. So from the very beginning itself, we see a very unsettling kind of an image coming to us. A skull in the holy sands. The mention of a skull in a sacred sands signifies mortality amidst the holy surroundings, suggesting that death is an integral part of life. It's an important part of life. Otherwise, in the holy sands, why would you suddenly have the mention of the skull? Tilts its empty country towards hunger. So the skull, representing emptiness, is leaning towards hunger, symbolizing how there is constant struggle among people for survival and fulfillment. They are not getting their food. This reminds me of T.S. Eliot's another poem called The Hollow Men. There also it talks about the hollowness of life, but over there it was more on an emotional level. In this case, this hollowness that they are suggesting, that the poet is suggesting, is on a physical level. The people are so poor and hungry, it's literally making them feel hollow, empty within. Next, we see white-clad widowed women. So the poet introduces women who are, dressed up in white. The word white-clad means that they are dressed up in white, and white is a traditional color of mourning, suggesting loss and grief. Past the centers of their lives are waiting to enter the great temple. So these women have been moved beyond the focal points of their existence. Now, in those times when Jayant Mahapatra was writing the poem, the widowed women were not given a respectable position in society. They were thought to be impure, they were thought to be a sign of bad luck. So that is what is being told over here, that despite their personal struggles, these women are eagerly waiting to enter the great temple to seek blessings, to seek guidance through spirituality, because it's not their fault that their better half, their husbands, are no longer alive. They did not go and murder the husbands, but that is how the society would look upon the widowed women. Next, their austere eyes. So the poet describes the women's eyes as austere, suggesting a stern look which is shaped by the life's hardships. They have suffered so much in life that nothing can move them now. Stare like those caught in a net. So the simile of being caught in a net evokes a sense of entrapment, helplessness. I told you, it's not the fault of these widowed women that they are in a situation like this. It is by chance that they have been thrusted into a situation like this, and yet there is a lot of struggle that these women are facing. Hanging by the dawn's shining strands of faith. So the women's gaze is compared to being suspended by the strands of faith in the dawn's light, highlighting that the power of faith is there to provide support and meaning even in the difficult times. The women, because they are feeling helpless, they are being outcasted by the people in the society, are now moving towards faith so that they can hold on to something and continue leading their life. The fragile morning light illuminates the surroundings, symbolizing that there is hope and potential for renewal. The imagery of ruined and leprous shells conveys how there is deterioration and decay in life, while the shells leaning against one another may suggest a collective suffering or a shared faith. And added to this, a mass of crouched faces without names. That is, there is a mass of people. The crowd is anonymous, which emphasizes that the suffering of these women, of these poor people all around the temple, is suffering of a collective humanity who is facing adversity, who is struggling for survival. And suddenly breaks out of my hide into the smoky blaze of a sullen, solitary pyre that fills my aging mother. So here, the poet's personal reflection on the surrounding of the temple is interrupted by the harsh reality that is there facing him, staring at him on the face. The scene's transition to a funeral pyre represents the finality of life, suggesting that death is certain. It is inevitable. You cannot delay death. When it is supposed to happen, it will happen. You cannot control it. The pyre becomes an important symbol over here, evoking the inevitability of human beings who are mortal creatures and the emotional weight it carries for the poet. Her last wish to be cremated here, twisting uncertainty like light on the shifting sands. So the poet reveals that his mother's final wish is to be cremated at this solemn place in Puri, which highlights the personal connection to the themes of life and death which has been explored in the poem. The mention of the light twisting uncertainly suggests the complexities and uncertainties of life, echoing the broader theme. The shifting sands represent how life is impermanent and existence is very, very uncertain. Let us quickly discuss the major themes of the poem. Now, Puri serves as a symbolic backdrop which represents how there is existence of spirituality and cultural richness on one hand, and the reality of life, creating many layers to the poem. Now, added to this, we have the theme of faith and despair, because we see there is coexistence of faith and despair, depicting individuals who are seeking peace and guidance on a spiritual level on one hand, and on the other hand, there are people who are still struggling to fulfill the basic necessities of their life. Next, it talks about mortality and transience. The poem delves into the theme of mortality using the powerful imagery of decay, death, and funeral pyres. Next, it also talks about socio-economic disparity, divide or difference, because we see how surrounded by the great temple at Puri are the poverty-stricken individuals who are trying to find a place in society by just trying to eat something to have their basic necessities sorted out. And lastly, we see how the poem talks about personal and collective suffering. That is, it gives descriptions of individuals who are facing hardships, and it is also showing a collective suffering. How we see that the poem mentions there are crouched faces without names. So the poem explores both on a personal level and on a collective level that each human being is suffering, whether it is on a spiritual level, physical level, whatever it is. But the basic necessity is to have accommodation for humanity, to have a sensitivity for human beings. So that's it from this video. I hope you liked it. Do hit the like button. Subscribe to my channel for more such future updates. Thank you for watching. Bye.